Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. It's Jang here from jangbricks.com with a look at a Mega Bloks Halo set. This is the Oni Reap X UNSC quad walker. Yeah, quite a handful there. I'll explain a little bit more. It comes with 335 pieces. Let's first take a look at the walker itself. And the whole Reap X thing, if you're not familiar with it, well, ONI, O-N-I, Office of Naval Intelligence, Reap X, Reverse Engineering and Prototyping Xenotechnology Department. It's basically a wing of ONI that takes Covenant and other technologies and they reverse engineer and they try to get whatever they can out of other technologies from other species and use it to good use for the humans, you know, for the good guys, right? So this is something that they've come up with as a result, supposedly, of reverse engineering the Locust and some other technologies. It is a four-legged walker that gets deployed from space like an ODST drop pod, and it comes with two plasma cannons. So rather than our typical, you know, either rail or, you know, linear accelerator based systems or just normal projectiles, they use plasma cannons, which is something that's relatively new to the UNSC side. And this is a single operator thing that walks normally like any kind of robot that you would expect. It was a pretty decent build, has a couple of large parts to it, and you'll notice very immediately that well, if you're a fan of Halo and or at least Halo Mega Bloks stuff, the canopy section here is taken right off the Falcon. In fact, I've brought into the studio with me a UNSC Falcon, so there you can see that very recognizable part. That kind of bugs me personally because it makes this whole thing look like the front end of a Falcon just kind of stuck on top of four stilts. It bugged me from the beginning. Bugs me a little bit less now that I've actually built this thing, not just looking at pictures of it anymore, because I think the proportions of it turned out pretty good here. You can see the relative size compared to a figure. I'll show you the minifigures in better detail, but I also want to show you something else that I brought with me to the studio. The Mantis. So there's just another walker, our favorite two-legged walker so far. So you can see just a difference in the proportions there. It could easily be asked, does the UNSC need another walker? And I think the answer to that is an obvious yes. You can never have too many walkers. Come on, mechs? Yes, always more mechs. I'll show you how this opens up, and there's your single seat that's built into that main large bottom piece. They have a very nice little control set here. I mean, it's simple. It's just a few parts, but it's put together very nicely, and that can actually lean forward and back, and you can actually rotate it a little bit in a couple different ways. You know, it makes for something a little bit different than just putting in a single stick or a very unrealistic little steering wheel or something like that. So that's nice, and it's in the Oni Reap X specific color scheme where they've got this kind of glittery metallic light blue. Unfortunately, those colors are not very consistent from part to part. So you can see, like, for instance, here's a really good example of a much lighter color and a darker color. Really doesn't take away from the look. Personally, I don't feel it really hurts that the colors change a little bit, but for people who build stuff custom, it can become an issue. Now this has a few different modes to it. As I mentioned, this thing can get dropped from space, and when it's being dropped from space, the idea is that it is all folded up like this, come down, entering into an atmosphere with an optimized drag producing kind of orientation here. And it has some thrusters. I'm assuming that these are supposed to be little thrusters here to help stabilize it as it comes down. As it comes down even farther, these will come out, kind of turn these out to the sides, and these will deploy as drag devices like so. So now you can see that it's a little bit more like a skydiver's kind of look or stance there, and they just kind of open up, and you can widen those out, make for a wider base, adjust their angles around if you want. That's actually a pretty cool thing right there. The fully folded up version is not entirely convincing to me, but once they did it like this and makes it look like it's skydiving, you would be adjusting the angles of these to keep it upright and kind of basically fly forward or back or wherever it needs to go. that made sense to me. And then the final one is, of course, standing up. Now, I would assume that when this thing comes down to the ground, unfortunately, there's just not enough detail in the builds here, and they didn't give us any pictures of the original design. The only images that they show in the included documentation and stuff, and on the box and everything, shows the Mega Bloks parts. But it would be nice to see actual concept art for this thing, because I would assume that these little teeth kind of end pieces here would actually have hydraulic rams in them, so that as the thing is walking, it would use these as shock absorbers and come down every single time that it comes down. This would hit the ground first. It would be just a big titanium alloy kind of thing. That would hit the ground first, and then it would take some of the shock, and then the rest of the weight would transfer down. That would be kind of a nice little action. As for the actual walking action with this thing, very posable it is, with good stability with a nice wide base, but you're not going to really get the legs to come up very much, especially in the front. You can see that you're just limited here. There's not that much space to actually move the arms up. So you can kind of turn things sideways and kind of cheat it a little bit to get, look at that. There's a single leg up, but you do have to kind of, like I said, just cheat it around a little bit. But overall, I think the playability with this thing turns out quite nicely, and the proportions are good. It's stable. It does its job. Also built up as part of this set is a Covenant shade turret. It's an anti-vehicle shade turret, this time with the different little snub-nosed cannon on there, so a little bit shorter. I think this is well done. They've captured the look properly. They've captured the proportions properly. It's in that interesting root beer brown color, so something just a little bit different, not one of the more common colors. I appreciate that. And it looks like it would belong in a terrestrial setting, and you can adjust the angle of the cannon up and down. You can adjust these up and down, although they wouldn't really be adjusted. Open that up kind of like a door, and your figure can just stand right there. It will actually accommodate anything from a grunt to an elite or a brute, so that's good with the proportions working out. It's a pretty simple thing, but it's appropriate. I think it's well designed, and you get the full 360-degree rotation out of it as long as you build it right. So I think this is done well also. Both of the figures included in the set are new for this set in their colors. The molds are not brand new, but these color configurations are. This is the ReepX specific color scheme that they're using for all of them, with the darker blue and then the red visor there. And then this is a Storm Elite. This guy's Recon, if I didn't mention that already. The Storm Elite is in a pearly gold, so not the shiniest gold, not the plated gold, but the same gold as the Series 8 Air Assault Spartan, except for the head. The head is actually painted, and it's painted in a not very metallic color. So it's actually more of a mustard yellow there, just a little bit of a difference there. I think they did the shoulders a little bit better. Interestingly, it's a dark gray plastic underneath here and here, but for the head, just I guess it needed a little bit more paint on that larger surface. But I think they both look good, and here you've got the is it Seraph or Vampire? Vampire colored Storm Rifle. Very nice to go with the Storm Elite. And then better still, we get the Incineration Cannon, also known as the Total Destruction of Everything gun. And this one's in the dark gray color. And that is just a great thing to have. Second time that we've gotten it ever from Mega Bloks. Very, very exceptionally well molded. And that also has the horizontal little peg on it, so you can attach it to your favorite knight figure, your Promethean knight. You also turn these guys around so you can see what they look like from the back. This is excellent molding that's done on this piece back here. Not exclusive to this set again, but still a really nice piece. And these are equally good minifigures, I feel. So this ended up being a better set than I expected, definitely. But I'm still bugged by the canopy, the Falcon canopy, and the entire shape of the whole thing. It just really feels like they took an out of commission Falcon that still had a good nose section, and then they just stuck some legs on it and a couple of guns. I much would have preferred a different build or an actual build for this section, especially since it's just a single operator thing. You could have made that smaller or something, given it some unique style. But for now, for reusing pieces that they have, I'm actually pretty decently happy with it, especially considering that it's supposed to be something experimental. It's not supposed to be something deployed en masse as yet. It is technically considered to be canon because it is blessed by 343, but as of now, there is no guarantee that we'll ever see the quad walker done again in any other context. It's just a toy for now, but we'll see how that goes. That's it for my thoughts about this set. Got a little wordy there, sorry about that, but had a lot of feelings and thoughts about this one. Feel free to share your thoughts. I've taken up your time. Feel free to take up some of my time and share your thoughts about the set, whether you like the set or you don't like the set. Doesn't matter if you agree with my opinions or not. Your opinions are your own and they're valid. And it's always great when folks share their thoughts in the comment section. Other people like to see that too. So I hope that you'll drop a little line there, and I hope that you'll stick around to watch more videos. Always more on the way. I'll be talking to you again very soon. Bye for now.